Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Trey, and welcome back to Let's Talk Finances. Investing doesn't have to be complicated. As a matter of fact, investing itself is very, very simple. However, it can become complicated when you don't know the foundations of investing. One really great way to invest is simply through a three-fund portfolio. It can be very simple and also rewarding. And if it's done right, you can potentially get returns that's comparable to a very sophisticated portfolio. Every investment portfolio should be founded, which means its core holdings should be founded around a three-fund portfolio. As a matter of fact, my family and I's portfolios are 100% centered around a three-fund portfolio. So in this video, I'm going to be going over a few things for you. The first thing I'll be going over is what exactly is a three-fund portfolio. The next thing being, how does a three-fund portfolio work? Followed by, who exactly is a three-fund portfolio for? And then lastly, I'll be giving you examples on how to build your three-fund portfolio, whether you're investing through Vanguard, Charles Schwab's, or Fidelity. But before we get started, in the United States, it is said that about 70% of you people who are watching this video are not subscribed to my channel. So what are you waiting for? What exactly is a three-fund portfolio? The three-fund portfolio is an investing strategy where you create a portfolio that contains only three assets. These assets are usually low-cost index funds or exchange-traded funds. More specifically, these funds can be broken down into three asset classes, those being U.S. stocks, U.S. bonds, and international stocks. Now, this particular method of investing helps millions of investors just like you build that comfortable nest egg in retirement. And the best news about it all is that you can build this portfolio with little to no time required in monitoring your investments. But before you make your mind up to go about this three-fund portfolio, let's go ahead and dive in to see whether the three-fund portfolio actually works. If you're enjoying the content of this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe and also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, if you're looking for an investment strategy that actually works and is very simple, then the three-fund portfolio may actually be for you. In order to detail that, let's take a look into how it actually works. Now, any good investment strategy must have three components. Those components being diversification, a simple asset allocation, and low risks. And the great news about a three-fund portfolio is that it meets all of these particular criteria. But let's dive a little further into these three particular areas of interest. Number one, diversification. Now, diversification, when we're talking about a three-fund portfolio, it allows you to diversify your portfolio without confusion. When we talk about investing, right, it becomes very, very convoluted. Should I even say confusing, because you have so many stocks to choose from. It shouldn't be confusing. In this instance, it's not, because you're only looking at three funds, all right? You're looking at three funds to build your portfolio and continue investing in it for the long term. And because you're only looking at three funds, you can cancel out the noise and continue pumping your money into three particular funds, which we're gonna go over here towards the end of the video. Now, the next thing is that it helps eliminate you being either over diversified or not diversified at all. Being overly diversified means that you pretty much have too much overlap. For an example, you're invested in three funds that all invest in an S&P 500. In that event, you're too over-diversified. Your portfolio is tilted too much in one direction, which means you have all of your eggs in one basket. In this event, that is why diversifying is so important. And in this case, when you execute that three-fund portfolio the right way, you're fully diversified, and on top of that, you don't have all of your eggs in one basket. All right, so now that we've gone over diversification, let's jump into the second category, which is equally as important, and that is creating a simplified asset allocation. What is an asset allocation, you say? Don't worry, I have you covered. An asset allocation involves dividing your investments between different assets. In this event, it could be stocks, bonds, or even cash for that matter. So, in essence, an asset allocation is the percentage of your investments that you put into each asset. For instance, you could have 80% in stocks, 10% in bonds, 10% in cash. I'm about to go over the different breakdowns here shortly. Now, your investment strategy really matters when we're talking about asset allocation. The way that you allocate your investments are going to be determined upon a few things, and those things being your risk tolerance, your age, and your long-term investment goals. Your risk tolerance should match your investment strategy and vice versa. Whenever I'm consulting individuals and trying to come up with a good investment strategy, the first question I generally ask is, what's your risk tolerance? Everyone always wants to say, oh, mine is super high. But I would beg to differ in most instances. What I mean by that is, if you invested $100,000 today and then you woke up tomorrow and half of it was gone, what would you do? Would you panic, take the rest of the money that's in your account out of it, or would you keep it in there? Now, this is going to determine what your risk factor is. Most individuals' risk factor, or risk tolerance, should I say, is actually lower than they think. So I would highly encourage you to assess what your risk tolerance is before you build that asset allocation. The next part of this that's going to be crucial when determining your asset allocation is your age. Proper rule of thumb in determining your asset allocation is subtract your age from 110. The number that's left over is the percentage of stocks that you should be invested in. The number that's left over after that is the percentage of bonds that you should be invested in. In theory, you want to invest a little bit more aggressively when you have a longer time frame to wait before you retire. The closer you are to retirement, the more bonds you want to invest in. But let me go ahead and give you some examples of some asset allocations. The first example is going to be an 80-20 split. So that means 80% stock, 20% bonds. Now, this is considered to be more of an aggressive way to invest, or an aggressive asset allocation. The second example would be something like 33% stocks, 33% bonds, and then 33% international. This would be considered more of a moderate way to build that asset allocation. And then lastly, you have 20% stock, 80% bonds. This would be for someone who's a little bit closer to retirement, and it's considered a very conservative way to build that asset allocation. But at the end of the day, the 3-fund portfolio is built off of simplicity. There's no need to make your investment portfolio overly complicated. So for all of you new investors that are looking to get into investing in index funds, I would highly encourage you to keep your investment strategy as simple as possible. In this event, the 3-fund portfolio is exactly what you would need to keep that investment strategy very, very simple. Simple is the name of the game in this event. Third thing that we're going to be looking at here is making sure that your risk is very low. And a 3-fund portfolio is going to be very good at doing so. Now, you have to remember that when you're investing, you're always going to assume some risk. However, if you're matching your investment strategy with your risk tolerance, you should be good to go. But in this event, a 3-fund portfolio is very good at easing that risk. The reason being is that you're only dealing with 3 particular funds, and those funds are very, very diversified. You're minimizing the risk of losing money to fees. Secondly, you're also minimizing your risk, as I stated earlier, your overall risk, should I say, because you're only dealing with 3 very highly diversified funds. So in this event, a 3-fund portfolio meets all 3 criteria for building a very good, solid investment portfolio. Who exactly is the 3-fund portfolio for? Now, this is going to be a very simple portion of this video. I would say that a 3-fund portfolio is good for every investor because it should be the staple or the core holdings for all investors, right? But especially for you new and beginner investors, a 3-fund portfolio is exactly where you should be started, all right? By implementing the 3-fund portfolio when you first start investing, it allows you time to learn about investing, but also it gives you all of the basic foundational funds that you need to build a successful investment portfolio. And that is what the name of the game is. Also, for those investors who are more hands-off, right? You don't want to have to check your portfolio every day, or you want it to be as simple as possible for you to manage. I would highly encourage you to be looking into this 3-fund portfolio. It's very simplified. It only deals with 3 funds that are very diversified, so you don't have much to worry about. Now, let's go into the last portion of this video. What funds should I be using to build my 3-fund portfolio if I'm investing with Vanguard or Fidelity or Charles Schwab? So the most popular US index funds are, to begin with, number 1, Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund, ticker symbol VTSAX, my personal favorite. Number 2, Vanguard's S&P 500 Index Fund, ticker symbol VFIAX, which is probably one of the most popular index funds for Vanguard. Number 3, Fidelity's S&P 500 Index Fund, ticker symbol FXAIX. The most popular international funds. Number 1, Vanguard's Total International Index Fund, ticker symbol VTIAX. Number 2, Fidelity's Zero International Index Fund, ticker symbol FZILX. And number 3, the Charles Schwab's International Index Fund, ticker symbol SWISX. Now, the most popular bonds. Number 1, the Total Bond Index Fund by Vanguard, ticker symbol VBTLX. Number 2, the Fidelity US Bond Index Fund, ticker symbol FSITX. And lastly, the Charles Schwab US Aggregate Bond Index Fund, ticker symbol SWAGX. Now, all of these funds have been chosen specifically with its performance in mind, popularity, as well as dependability. Now, again, you can go down to the descriptions below. I'll also include examples of the ETF equivalent and also a full breakdown of each one of these funds so you can be more familiarized with them. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. To the next video, let's talk finances then. Thank you.